Hello, I'm Yogi Stillness, and thank you for joining us. I'll be your guide in today's meditation. Today we'll be honoring our complexity so that we can celebrate all facets of ourselves. We'll begin by sitting on the floor, a cushion, or in a chair. When you feel ready, allow your eyes to close. And let's take 3 deep breaths together. Begin with a great big inhale and hold it in, and a long, full exhale. Now a deeper breath in, holding it, and a full exhale. One last full inhale and hold, and a complete exhale, releasing everything. And now release control of your breath and simply become aware of its movement in your body. Notice anywhere in your body that you may be able to feel emotions. First, observe any areas of tension, maybe around your neck and shoulders, jaw, heart center, or your gut. Notice if any of these areas are possibly holding on to unpleasant emotions. Fear, anger, sadness. Listen gently to any sensations you observe in these areas and see if you can detect any emotional energy in the tension. Acknowledge anything you find, and remember that you do not necessarily need to change your feelings, but simply become aware of them and how they are affecting you. And continue this observation as you breathe gently for a few more moments in silence. If your mind has disconnected from the breath, come back to the flow of the in-breath and the release of the out-breath. Whatever negative emotion stands out the most to you, take a moment to find another energy to mentally install in that part of your body. Maybe replace fear with optimism or self-confidence, anger with compassion, or sadness with acceptance. Continue this while observing the breath and your thoughts silently for a few minutes. If your mind has drifted away, return your focus back to the breath and bring your attention to the balance of the inhale and exhale again. Inside all of us is a multitude of emotions, characteristics, and potential personalities, each serving a different purpose. The various situations life presents call for different aspects of our lives. There are times when we may need to be vulnerable and empathetic, and there are places where we may need to be direct and even confrontational. While we may feel pressure to come off a certain way or to conform to people's expectations, the reality is that we can get boxed into a rigid image of ourselves that stops us from being able to adapt to new challenges and situations. But when we get comfortable in a certain role, we tend to default to that role in every situation. Just as to a person holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. We may often think that we need to be a certain way to succeed or to be accepted by others. Whether that means being tough, smart, or kind, we might look at people we wish to emulate and see them as two-dimensional beings, emblematic of a singular trait that seems to explain all their abilities or likability. But life is complicated. The person we think we need to be in the boardroom or the classroom isn't necessarily going to be the same person we need to be at home or with our friends. When we get stuck of thinking of ourselves in a certain way, we can forget to nurture the many sides of us that make us unique and adaptable. When we need to get things done, it can be easy to forget that we have the capacity to approach a particular problem in many different ways. The tough love we might give to a student or employee won't always help in our relationships with our families or children. The no-nonsense attitude that helps us succeed at work might have the opposite effect in our personal relationships. And the non-confrontational side we default to might not be helpful when we need to stand up for ourselves. With mindfulness, we can find the part of ourselves that is best suited to each situation instead of bringing a preconceived notion of who we think we should show up as. We may feel appreciation about facing ourselves in this way, but being mindful can help us feel more comfortable in seeing all sides as complicated and layered as we actually are. When we have to play a role or behave in a certain way, we can mistake this aspect of ourselves for our whole selves. Going through the ups and downs of life means we may have to wear many hats, but we can still be mindful of which hat is the most appropriate for each situation. And that can only come from being aware of our sense of self and allowing that mindfulness to inform how we interact with the world. And come back into your body now. Take one last cleansing breath in and hold it. And let it out. And then allow your eyes to open. Thank you for showing up for yourself in this practice today. We are so grateful for the opportunity to support you in self-care and look forward to meeting you again tomorrow.